Zack Snyder's newest film, Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire, is an epic space opera in keeping with the director's thrilling style, but Rebel Moon, Part 2 is now releasing dangerously close to the first movie. The first film hit select theaters on December 15th, not with a bang, but with a limp thud. Currently sporting a mere 21% critics score on Rotten Tomatoes, breaking Zack Snyder's previous record for worst Rotten Tomatoes score, Rebel Moon. Part 1 has been criticized for prioritizing flashy visuals over storytelling or originality. Snyder has an opportunity to change things though, since Rebel Moon, Part 2. The SCARGIVER is scheduled for release in April 2024. The release of Part 1 is much too soon on this day, which is the sole issue. Rebel Moon's emphasis on world-building over plot was one of its issues. Snyder acknowledges that the first movie was primarily set up and left the audience on the edge of their seats for Part 2. In light of this, the sequel could surpass the first picture in quality. Since Part 1 established the characters in milieu, the second Rebel Moon movie can concentrate on delivering a tale instead of setting up Snyder's fantastical world. Nonetheless, the sequel's prospects have been severely harmed by the way the original film was received. Netflix would be better off waiting than hurrying through the release of Rebel Moon, Part 2 in the hopes that it will mend the harm. Rebel Moon may have been disappointing, but its cliffhanger at the end might have drawn in viewers to the follow-up. In order to capitalize on this, Snyder and Netflix should let suspense between movies to grow. While viewers may eventually forget about the uninteresting or copycat elements of the previous picture, they will never forget a great cliffhanger. This is especially true if Snyder releases his R-rated version of Child of Fire ahead of the SCARGIVER. If the director's version generates more buzz, the SCARGIVER might have a more positive reception than its predecessor. The SCARGIVER, which Netflix will only be offering to viewers more of if they didn't find fascinating the first time, won't help the franchise if people didn't enjoy A Child of Fire. It's time to start hyping up the sequel to Rebel Moon, revealing more of its plot and emphasizing the aspects of the original picture that audiences found enjoyable, including the action sequences and performances. With enough time, viewers will forget the less-than-ideal parts of A Child of Fire and be more willing to give the SCARGIVER the benefit of the doubt. Hopefully, Rebel Moon, Part 1 will go down in history as a botched beginning to a worthwhile franchise. Rebel Moon, Part 2 has the potential to be one of the many science fiction sequels that surpass their original works. Snyder is known for creating contentious films, but he has also produced some genuinely outstanding movies, which is why he has a devoted following. But if all goes according to plan and the SCARGIVER airs on April 19, 2024, interest might die before Rebel Moon gets a chance to shine.